The Ever So Lean podcast.
Extra!
You know it makes sense.
Welcome to Ever So Lean Extra, where we serve up an extra dose of excellence. I'm Matt Sims, and I'll be your host as we dive deep into the heart of the UK Excellence Awards. In Season 1, we're immersing ourselves in the prestigious British Quality Foundation as we look inside the UK Excellence Awards, an event that epitomises innovation, quality and sheer excellence on a monumental scale. Imagine a platform where industry leaders, influencers and visionaries converge to celebrate the pinnacle of achievement in business. But we're not just spectators, we're rolling up our sleeves and diving headfirst into each award category. From the judges who meticulously study every submission to the sponsors who lend their support, from the finalists who embody excellence to the winners who stand triumphant. We'll hear from them all. Why do they get involved and what secrets do they hold for achieving excellence? It's all here on Ever So Lean Extra as we uncover the stories behind the glitz and glamour, delving deep into the minds of those who make this event truly spectacular. Picture this, Wembley Stadium, Thursday the 27th of March 2025, because that's where we're heading for the next awards. The UK Excellence Awards are the Oscars of the business world, a star-studded affair buzzing with innovation and inspiration. It's where brilliance meets recognition, where hard work meets its well-deserved spotlight. Ever So Lean Extra is your inside scoop to the most prestigious event in the business calendar. Welcome to Ever So Lean Extra, where excellence really does take centre stage. As the headline sponsors of the 2023 UK Excellence Awards, and once again for the upcoming 2025 edition, Mazars Management Consulting stands at the forefront of celebrating excellence in business. But what drives Mazars to continuously align with this prestigious event? Join me in this episode as I sit down with Alan Frost, Mazars partner, to uncover the synergies between Mazars and the UK Excellence Awards. What makes this partnership so compelling? What values do they share and what impact do they hope to make on the business landscape? Let's find out.
The Ever So Lean podcast.
Extra!
You know it makes sense.
So today I'm joined by Alan from Mazars, and Mazars were the headline sponsor at the 2023 UK Excellence Awards and are coming back for more in 2025 as the headline sponsor again. Alan, good morning.
Good morning.
What's the motivation that inspires Mazars to support this prestigious event?
Well, at Mazars, quality is the utmost importance of everything that we do for our clients. And having been to a number of the BQF events, I could just see that excellence, quality was so important to them and all of the members. So in 2023, it felt like a natural thing to do to support the awards. The night itself was just fantastic. The lead up to it, the excitement on the night, the celebration that everybody, whether you were a finalist, a winner, or just attendee, had for the whole evening was brilliant. And so the following morning, I rang up BQF and said, "Can we get involved for 2025 as well, please?"
It was that
little
quick.
Did I know. Yeah. Little did I know that it was going to be at Wembley as well, which is even better. So it's just a brand that our firm can just resonate with so much. Their values and what they're striving to achieve, and the members are they're everything that we want to be involved with and everything we believe in too.
Yeah, it's a really good fit actually, isn't it? It really is hand in glove. The awards night you mentioned then as well, I know what you mean. It had this buzz about it, didn't it? The atmosphere was sparkling with energy and excitement, and everybody there was so willing to share with everybody else, which is what I really like about it.
Definitely, I go to an awful lot of different awards events over the course of a year and black tie events. I've never been to one before whereby it felt as though almost everybody was within even the same organisation, or it felt like it was a group of acquaintances, of friends, of colleagues, all getting together as one. Whereas ordinarily, you're up against either competitors or it's just quite individual. Here, it felt like a real family, which sounds like a cheesy line to say, but it honestly did, and it was very different to other awards we've been to.
I find it really amusing when I think about it, because you'd walk across the floor, you'd look around, and you'd have pets at home talking to Currys, who are talking to British Gas, who are talking to BT. It's like all these companies that you never would imagine that would be sitting there talking to each other. They're sharing, oh yeah, we do this, and oh yeah, we do that. It's brilliant, isn't it? It really is.
And I think, sitting on some of the judging panels and looking at some of the different awards and the nominations that people have put forward last year and undoubtedly will do for 2025, the similarities across all of the challenges that all businesses are facing, whether you're in retail, whether you're in technology, whatever sector you're in at all, actually problems and business challenges are quite similar. Yes, you might get to an end result that's very different between Currys and BT, but in actual fact, each organisation is trying to resolve a similar problem. And so sharing those ideas cross-sector and cross-organisation is hugely powerful. And I think that's probably why there's such a warm togetherness feeling at BQF events, actually, is because there are so many like-minded people being challenged by similar issues in very different businesses.
Yeah, what's fascinating is that I was a judge on some of the awards last year. And what I found really fascinating is you're bang on that they all do have similar issues. But when you listen to them, their approaches to solving them are ever so slightly different, yet they're all successful in what they're doing. And it just goes to show that one size doesn't fit all in terms of excellence. It's about what works in your organisation with your culture.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point in terms of that culture. What works for one company might not work for another because they have a very different change culture, for instance, or way of working. Nevertheless, some of the principles that people use are exactly the same, yet they just need to be applied in that slight nuance to be adapted for their organisation, whether it be the type of individual they have, the type of business that they work in or market that they operate in geographically or just from a sector perspective. So not to be understated, that company culture piece. And that's something that I think when I look at all of the attendees actually at the BQF event, culture is something that is spoken about at a very, on a very regular basis and really is recognised by all of the people in the room. You can all have the greatest ideas and you can all say, look, on paper, this should work, but actually putting it into practice is a different thing.
I find myself coming away from the Excellence Awards thinking I want to apply for jobs in all these different companies. Like, you've got to choose which one I'm going to go to.
Well, again, I suppose, cynically, that's another reason why we want to be involved, because actually it's very rare. It's great to see so many organisations that believe in particularly in quality and hold that so in such high regard, but are as open and as collaborative as the members of BQF are, and that's another reason why we want to be involved. It's we get to have a little look at all these organisations, talk to them about their challenges, offer ideas on where we've provided solutions before to help other clients. We say actually we want to help you, we want to work with you because you're good people that want to do the right thing and have similar values to us.
Yeah, tell us about those values. So for people that are listening now that have never heard of Mazars or they're not too familiar with what you do, tell us a little bit about what you do and how those values do align.
From a consultancy perspective, which is where myself and the other team members that are involved in the BQF work, we really do try and have a little bit of a different voice. We're a smaller consultancy maybe than some of our traditional competitors in the accounting and tax space, which are probably more household names, but we think that we can still pack a punch and we can offer something at a scale that does work for those organisations that you've talked about and others, other members of BQF. In terms of our values, really, there's an awful lot of co-creation. We want to work with our clients, not for our clients. And because we perhaps don't have sometimes some of the brand exposure that other competitors of ours do have, we ensure that that quality is put top of the agenda and comes first and foremost. We approach problems from a similar perspective in terms of workshopping the problem, trying to get to the root cause of what the real issue is, and then really understand what would be a monumental solution for this client, what would really make a big difference to this organisation. But more importantly, we want to stay on that journey with the clients and actually help them embed that solution and embed it not just for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, but actually forever into their organisation or for as long as it's really needed. That piece around quality is absolutely essential for us, and which is why again it just lines so nicely with BQF.
Do you have any of your clients that are involved in the awards as nominees?
No, we don't currently, but it's something that we've talked about with real pride to our clients, actually, our relationship with BQF, what we're doing there. We're very active across the whole team, I think, on LinkedIn, and they see an awful lot of what we share around BQF. And so we've set ourselves a challenge over the course of the rest of 2024 to be talking to more of our clients about BQF, about the values that it could bring to their organisation, and to promote projects that we're doing with them to say, look, we think this is something that could really be successful at the awards, and is something that's relevant to talk about, and that the members would like to hear about as well. And I think that's really important.
Yeah.
That you could see that collaboration across all of the BQFs, not just the annual awards, but all of the events that the BQF run. You can see that desire to collaborate, to listen, to learn from one another. So we've set ourselves internally a challenge to try and see where we can get to over the course of this year with our clients.
I'll be asking for a revote if any of your clients win. It's an inside job.
We would definitely need to show our hand and say we can't sit on the judging panel of this one, maybe, because we can tell you everything about that project. So
what's really interesting is speaking to many of the other finalists and winners, they all say the same message in that the impact that getting to the finals has on the organisation, win or not, is so positive because it really gives them a chance to stop and reflect on what they've achieved. And in many cases, it gives the opportunity for people that probably wouldn't normally go on a presentation and talk about what they've done to go on there and celebrate that success. And that you cannot underestimate the impact that has on people.
It's funny because that's a phrase that I've heard many, many times before in other awards. Getting to the final is, as great as being the nominated winner at the end. But I've never really understood it until we got involved with the BQF, and I was on the judging panel and actually saw some of those individuals, like, who you refer to there, Matt, that probably wouldn't necessarily have that opportunity to talk about what they're doing or even recognise the impact of what they're doing had actually for their organisation and for their colleagues. So I would completely agree that, you see individuals who were probably quite reserved or quite, unfamiliar with presenting on Zoom or on Teams or whatever, really come out of their shell and really talk with such pride. And, I don't think you can fake pride, but, when it comes across, it's really telling.
Yeah.
And, you can see the enjoyment and satisfaction that people have got. And I think for a quality awards event, there's nothing better than watching people grow in confidence as they present the work that they did, the impact it had on their business, and not from a self-interest perspective, from a genuine, we solved a problem and we've all benefited as a result.
It's authenticity, isn't it?
Mm.
You can walk into an organisation and they have their values up on the wall and you see it printed, looks really good. And you walk around and you think, do they really do this? But with the UK Excellence Awards and with BQF, you can genuinely see it. They come on, they talk about what they've done. And then when you meet them at the awards, because, these people are going to the awards as well, and they're all dressed up, they're in their glad rags, they're all excited, they're having a drink, and you talk to them and it just, the authenticity just comes out of them. And you can see how real it all is, it leaves you feeling great. It really does.
It does, and maybe that's one of the reasons why the awards are so great, is that you do get maybe some different people coming to the awards that would normally come along. But I think, hearing all those different stories, hearing the different people that have been involved, and that is something else that struck all of myself and my colleagues actually at Mazars when we were on the judging panels, is recognising the breadth of individual involved in these organisations that were helping on these awards. Not so much in the awards nomination, actually, but the project itself or the initiative or the solution that was designed. The reach that all of these nominations have had on their organisations and the way it's touched so many people has been really great to see. These aren't necessarily isolated small solutions that have been or projects that have been worked on that have affected 1, 2, 3 people. These are organisational wide usually, many of which some people in the organisations wouldn't even realise has happened, but it's massively impacted their day or their organisation or their individual workload, which is always great to see.
Yeah, it's not all about money, is it? Which is what I like.
No.
All of the projects they're presenting are not all about we saved X number of pounds. It is about people's experience and what's happening in the workplace.
Yeah, and again, we talked earlier about culture. I think that's so important when it comes to creating a culture of, whether it be continuous improvement, sustained high quality, whatever it could be, or just employee satisfaction. and people try and put a monetary value on retention in business or the cost of attrition in business from staff. But I think it's a very difficult thing to really put a true figure on. If you've got engaged members of staff that are loyal and are giving their all to an organisation, it's invaluable.
Yeah, it is. You can't buy it. It is there, isn't it? It is there or it's not. So how does Mazars believe the UK Excellence Awards contribute to enhancing standards and driving positive change within the industry then? I guess it's more about the values, isn't it, that you mentioned before?
It is, but you look at how big the awards were in 2023. They are undoubtedly going to be an even bigger event, which is why we're having to go to Wembley Stadium in 2025. Having to. It's the only place that can accommodate such an awards event. You can see that it's having an impact. You can see just from the energy in the room that we've talked about, from the collaboration, from the stories, from the success that everyone shares in each other's celebrations, is having. So it's having an impact. And the organisations that you alluded to earlier, if organisations, well-known brands in the UK that we all recognise, are keen to get involved, you can see that it clearly is. It clearly is doing something for good. Watching some of the individuals that are members through their corporate organisations of BQF grow as well. You can see, we're connected with them on LinkedIn. We talk to them regularly at all the events. You can see them growing as individuals and personally within their businesses is great to see as well. So therefore, that the work that they're doing in their business is having an impact because they're being promoted, be it through new job titles or just greater experience and exposure and responsibility. So it 100% is having a good impact. What I would love to see is even more organisations getting involved over the course of the rest of this year and before the awards, because, I think you'd be surprised what you're doing, if you're listening in now, what you're doing in your organisation, probably, there will be aspects of it which undoubtedly could be transformed into a nomination for one of the award categories that we've got in the awards. And I would really encourage people to talk to a BQF member, talk to one of the judging panel or someone at BQF or Mazars around the type of work that you're doing, and I'm pretty sure we could advise and help you around the awards.
So as a leading global firm then, what does Mazars see itself, or what role does Mazars see itself playing in shaping the future of the excellence and innovation in professional services?
We want to have a key role. Excellence is everything. When you bring in professional services companies, the clue's in the name. It's a professional service that you're looking for. It's not to say that professional service companies need to have all the answers, but I think we need to ensure that we're working in a way that means that the best answers and all of the answers are being heard, are being brought to the table. Again, when you watch some of the videos around the BQF awards, you can see that some of the best ideas are not always coming from the people that you would maybe anticipate or go to for those ideas. It can often be those quieter people that play a smaller role, maybe in the background of an organisation. And so, I think our role is to help organisations identify where those good ideas could come from, who they could come from, and make sure they come to the fore and are heard and appraised to be considered. So we've got a huge role, but it's not just in working with the likely people within an organisation. It's about spreading it as wide as possible.
And last question for you, Alan. Where can people go to learn more about Mazars and the work that you guys do?
Well, you can come along to any BQF event because we have a presence at every single one of them. And in fact, actually, we're hosting a couple of events coming up in person soon as well. And we've always got a presence at other events and on the online events too. But naturally, mazars.co.uk is our website. Please link in with me, Alan Frost, at Mazars on LinkedIn. But and what we really want to have conversations. That's what we want to hear from you in terms of what's going on in your business. What are your challenges? Because, like I said at the start of this podcast, many of the organisations, be it your large Currys, BT, Tesco's, all the way through to perhaps some of our smaller member organisations, are all facing very, very similar challenges. Yes, they approach it in a slightly different way, or they need to put a solution in a slightly different way due to the size, complexity, etc. But the business problem that they're facing, 9 times out of 10, is very similar. So I'm 100% confident that if someone's listening here thinking, I'd like to get involved in either the awards or the BQF more generally, I've got, quality is important. It's one of our values. It's what we believe in. It's what our customer value proposition is about. Please get in touch through any of those means, and we'd love to have a conversation with you.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Everceline Extra. I hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the world of the UK Excellence Awards. To learn more about the UK Excellence Awards and what it means to be a BQF member, visit www.bqf.org.uk. Don't forget, you can catch more episodes of the Everceline podcast on all major platforms or at everceline.com. Whether you're seeking insights into leadership, continuous improvement, or simply looking to be inspired, we've got you covered. Until next time, stay excellent. Everceline Extra is researched, recorded and produced by Matt Sims. Visit everceline.com to find out more.
The Everceline podcast.
Extra!
You know it makes sense.